Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream here on twitch.tv/Asuma. And the bananas are in chat and there's so many of them. The names are scrolled off the screen. We'll skip the reading of the banana names today. I am in such a good mood right now. I've been incredibly inspired. And I thought, oh, I've got a live stream and I can't wait to tell y'all some of the things that are on my mind. But we've got to get into it a little bit here. Monster Mug Gaming says, am I the only one that thought, yep, why isn't he live? I should be live. I hope I'm live. There's bananas in chat, surely. That means that we are live. Right, so anyway, why am I inspired? What are we doing? I'm going to start off with some simple slabbage action. I'm just going to place down slabs, and we're going to worry about what we're doing right here. Also, say hello to Scar. Say hello to Scar right there. Peeps, I just listened today to an amazing podcast that really boosted my mood and my spirit. And I needed it today. Yesterday and today, a little bit funky with the mood, right? The mood goes up and down. Got to figure out what it is. I don't know. This podcast was just what I wanted to hear today. So it was the Joe Rogan Experience with Kevin Hart. I'm sure many of you know who Kevin Hart is, right? He's a comedian. I think he's funny. I like him. He's a funny guy. I've seen quite a few of his movies and his stand-ups and whatnot. But man, what an interesting person. What a person with an incredible positive attitude and outlook. And, you know, they talked about one thing in particular I want to talk to all of you about. I think about it every now and then. And maybe I feel like I don't talk about it enough here. Maybe here's a really great place to talk about it. But they talked about this, that they don't like being surrounded by people that talk negatively about things, right? That hate on stuff, like, you know, oh, did you see that new movie? Nah, that sucks, that kind of thing, right? I'm sure anyone here can see that in themselves or in people they know, that sometimes you gravitate to something negative. You're like, man, that thing sucks, I hate that. And I've got a little bit of confession to make right here, okay? Y'all can have a go at me right now, because let's take Imagine Dragons, for example. Like, I really don't like them, but I'm hating on them. I shouldn't be out here on a stream talking about something I don't like. So I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I'm going to try not to do that, and you can call me out on it if I do it, right? Dab on the haters, says Unit 5. Strangely appropriate. I hate haters, says Vault. I hate them too, those haters. Oh, those haters. So Edward says Imagine Dragons are great. Now Edward is winning, because if you find something great, then it's great to enjoy it, right? And I say that, and yet somehow I manage to get a bit snooty every now and then and talk about something that I hate. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that at all. I want to snub that out. Anyway, I highly recommend to anyone here who likes listening to people that have got some positivity to share, some life advice, or just want to hear some people have an interesting discussion, go check it out, the Kevin Hart podcast with Joe Rogan. I mean, I've listened to so many of his, and he brings on so many interesting people, you know, medical experts, scientists, people with very interesting stories to tell, journalists. And usually I think that's the kind of stuff I want to tell people about, right, in a live stream. Like, hey, go learn about this crazy thing or whatever. But today, no, like, I want to tell y'all to go check that out, because it was so positive, and what a positive person he is. And yeah, I got more to say on the matter, actually. But we've got noises in the ear. So we've been raided, first of all, by Katie. I mean, Katie, thank you ever so much, Katie115, for raiding us. I appreciate you doing that if you're still there. And I'm sorry that I missed your raid, because as you may have just heard, I've been in the middle of a little bit of a waffle sandwich here. Echoes9 is resubscribed for 2 months in a row. Another JT for 23 months. And MCP Foxing Gaming has subscribed with Amazon Prime. Thank you ever so much for the support, peeps. We also got Bellanat here resubscribing for 6 months, saying, you always make my day X with your videos and stream, keep them coming. Thank you for the lovely message, buddy. I'm glad they bring something to you. I really am. I really am. I love doing this, you know. Listening to that podcast, though, started to make me think about some other things that I might want to do. This is like a whole other topic. Let's shelve that for a second. One other thing I wanted to bring up was just that I feel like I've heard a lot of people say mean things about Kevin Hart. Oh, he's not funny, he's not this, he's not that, right? The point I would always make is try and hear things from the person themselves, you know? As a person yourself, you naturally have, you know, an ability to smell you can decipher if something's genuine or not, right? You know when someone's lying, that kind of thing. He's a very genuine bloke, you can tell by hearing it. And it reminds me again of just all these times that people are just confabulating stuff about other people, right? Like, if you got an opinion on someone, probably a good idea to have heard them talk themselves, about themselves first. You know what I mean? Because we all people, and we're all a lot more like each other than we think we are sometimes, right? So yeah. And anyway, it got me thinking about, what if I could do more with my time, right? Like, what would I do? I constantly and ah about, hey, I'm in this position, I've got people to talk to, I've got a potential opportunity here that may never come around again, right? And what I generally do is just focus on this that works, right? Streaming, making these episodes. And it got me wondering about, like, what more could I do? Where else could I put some of this energy? And I don't know, it's kind of prompted me to think about that. Like, could write a book. I don't think that's quite the format though. I like the idea of perhaps making a podcast that isn't a casual podcast, but like a thoroughly thought out, like a piece of something that you could go and listen to again and again, you know, like a kind of high quality lump of information in one place. But here's the thing, like, it would take more of my time, and I put a heck of a lot of time into this. And I was listening to a podcast with H3 and Mr. Beast, and they were talking about, like, getting like an editor in and other people in to help you do more. And I just don't know where I would squeeze that in myself, because my editing style is like, it's almost like it's built into the recording, right? Like, they don't really separate from one another. It's also not a hassle, but there's these little bits, these little things that take up time that feel like I can't really replace that. Like, setting up for a live stream. I mean, it'd be nice if I could just sit down and go, but I've got to do a bunch of pre-recorded videos, upload it here, send out that tweet, adjust that title. I don't know, I need to streamline and free up some time if I'm going to start working on something different, you know. That's basically it. Lots of you putting suggestions in chat. I appreciate it. As you might be aware, today's going to be a bit of a talky one for me. I've just got so much stuff whizzing around in my head. I feel very hyper as well. I feel like something clicked and my brain has like shifted into a different mode or something. Why are you tearing all of this out, says Bigger Brisket. We need to rebuild it down below. So we have to tear it out to begin with. Jiffy J14 is here, resubscribing for 26 months in a row. We also got Riffanaut for 28 months in a row. Goodness me. Long time. Thank you to the both of you. Appreciate it ever so much. We also got Squid Noogie for 2 months. Squid Noogie, glad to have you with us. Thank you so much for your subscription. And I appreciate it. Yeah, speaking of the H3 and Mr. Beast podcast, I said this the other day in one of my live streams that there was someone, again, that, like, I noticed that I'd made an assumption about this person, right? I sort of saw the money thing, like giving away this much money, and I was like, oh yeah, I see how it works. It's like a trade-off. You get the money back from making views on the video. But then, like, again, got to hear it from the person's mouth. Like, if you listen to that guy, what a genuine and genuinely nice young person. Yeah, really positive bloke with just a good kind of attitude, right? And so whenever we're having these live streams, man, like, you can hold me to it. Like I said earlier, no more hating on stuff, right? We've got to find the positivity in everything. Ain't got time for hating on stuff. What do you think about peanut butter with apples, says Engelholm. Engelholm, I hate peanut butter with apples. What a terrible combination. No, I'm messing with you. I mean, I am a Frankenstein eater, I think. I will eat any combination of things. Like, I love natural yogurt and pancakes, and I'm talking pancakes made without sugar. I don't think that's something that other people find terribly appetizing, but for me, it hits the spot big time. Ice cream and ketchup, says Luke. Okay, now you're pushing some buttons right there. Okay, now you're trying to make me say something bad. That I think I couldn't do. I don't think I could do ketchup and ice cream. That sounds kind of crazy, you know. So, noise in the ear from Stomp for 23 months in a row, saying almost there. Indeed, yes, one more month. Diamond face in chat. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Salty ice cream, says Too Cool. I mean, salty like salted caramel. Sure, I reckon that would be pretty good. I brought some stuff today. I got a recommendation to get this spread, this topping, called Briscoff, I believe, and it's like a biscuity salted caramel type taste. My goodness me, is that stuff the devil. It's a few less calories, but I'm sure probably more sugary. Like, the calories in it come from the sugar. The calories in peanut butter, for example, probably come more so from the fattiness of the nuts. But I compared it to peanut butter, right, as a spread. But it's probably actually not better. If you look at it as pure calories, then yeah, it's got a few less, but it's probably all sugar now that I think about it. Anyway, delicious taste, not healthy, although it is suitable for vegetarians and vegans, I noticed on the back, which made me go, might possibly mean it's a bit more plant-based, a bit more healthy, but it's obviously a very processed spread and product. Yeah, maybe that's something I could focus a little bit of my energy into. Something to do with food. You know, I listen to so many podcasts and videos I follow of like people who are like experts in topics that I'm interested in. Maybe what I should invest in is like a resource for people to find this stuff, like a place to link things together and say, hey, are you interested in health and fitness? Start here. Go there. Like, link these things that I've learned from together. Maybe that would be a good idea. So what are you doing today, says Too Cool. We're going to be drinking tea. I've got a hot cup of tea right here. Let's get excited about that. 12 minutes in, it'll be ready for drinking in 5, I reckon. And we'll be working on this witch hut project right here. Durite equals bird poop, says Poke. You could say that, couldn't you? You could say that. What district are you in, says Callan? We're far away from any district. We've got a noise in the ear from Nahomi for me. Thank you ever so much for your support. I probably butchered your name. Feel free to put the butcher name emote in chat if that is true. I'm probably sure it's true. Double Moses says, I would enjoy a podcast or something where we can all talk health and fitness. Yes, I would enjoy that too. I mean, at the moment, you know, your podcasty type stuff, it pops up during these live streams, basically, right? I'm trying to now think of, like, what's the latest health and fitness thing I've heard, I've learned of, but I've of the videos I've been, I'll give a shout out. I'm talking about trying to unify these things together. A channel I really like for health and fitness, and this is for people who are, I think, more into it. If you're a beginner, maybe not. If you work out, especially if you work out, it's called Shredded Sports Science. It's basically this guy who is an actual doctor. I'm not sure specifically what his qualifications are, but he's a guy in the know, a guy who's educated on how it all works, the whole working out and building muscle, and he constantly, like, analyzes other people's videos of, you know, trainers and whatnot on YouTube who are fitness, and talks about the real science and what they're getting wrong. And I just listen to him over and over again because it gets like drilled into your head what the real science behind this stuff is. Yeah, Shredded Sports Science. Double Moses says, Shredded Sports Science is great. Love his dry humour. His sense of humour is great. It goes all over the place. I like it. Tons of references, just dropping in jokes. And I think that's a really good way to entertain with a heavier subject, let's say, right? There's a lot of big words that he's throwing at you. And it takes a bit of time to pick up what all of it means. But it really gets offset by the fact that there's always like a streak of humour in everything he's telling you. That's a good thing. Anyway, that's a really great channel that I like and highly recommend. Jeff Nippard is a great resource for evidence-based fitness contests, says Amzam. That would be the other one. Those two, maybe Athlean X as well. Those they're the free channels that I feel like you get the really good lot of information from. But yes, the resource evidence-based fitness content. This guy is constantly referring to studies. Like, he's not just telling you something, he's going, and here's the study, and here's what type of study it is, and here's how reliable that type of study is. Like, that's some great level of information right there. Like, I now know what meta-analysis is. I never knew before, okay? I didn't know that meta-analysis was a thing. There you go. Anyway, we shouted out some channels. How about we shout out another one? Francis is asking, how's your yoga going? It's going great. For yoga, I follow. Is it Adrienne? I feel like I'm getting it. I'm gonna say it wrong, but yeah, her channel for yoga is fantastic. I actually, for the longest time, went with a totally different channel called Psychic Truth, maybe, or Psychic Health, something like that. And I found their yoga stuff a little bit harder to follow. Like, maybe it's because I just got used to doing yoga that made it easier to go to this other channel. But yeah, the first channel I found it was a bit more work to like figure out all the stuff that you're supposed to do. But this Yoga with Adrienne, her videos are just very, very well suited for following along. The way she explains what you're going to do, really good stuff. And yeah, I'm still doing it daily. I'm on day 16 now of getting back into it. I didn't choose not to stop doing it. I unfortunately got kind of forced into that position with my shoulder, which is, you know, slowly getting better, but still not that great. I'm going to start reintroducing some movements like pull-ups and maybe chin-ups, and some stuff that's, you know, involves the shoulder, but it's not particularly putting the stress on it. Although I believe the chin-up puts more stress on the shoulder. But yeah, I'm slowly working my way back into it, peeps, which is good. What did you do to your shoulder, says DS Fireblade? I'm really not sure. I think it was just like an injury from working out. There wasn't... I mean, maybe I'd been going a little bit gung-ho trying to learn deadlifts, which I'm like learning that stuff. I don't know. Anything that goes near my back, I'm really quite uncomfortable with. But my back is definitely getting stronger with time. Probably thanks to doing the yoga more than anything. But anyway, I'm just doing like regular working out, and then I get this feeling in my shoulder that's like, oh, that's not just like you know, any old sensation. That's clearly like a, hey, something's wrong here sensation. Not searing pain, nothing like that. So I ease off, I take a break, and then the next time I go for it again, it's a different routine. It's not a shoulder routine, it's my my chest routine, and I'm doing bench press and I can feel it, and I'm just like, oh man, I've got to stop, like something's wrong with this. Gave it a few days and I was like, I am like, this stuff is so important to me, I am going straight down to the physio, like I'm not messing about. And since then I've just been kind of out of action, but slowly getting back into it. Got a cool story for you though, and we've got noises in the ear to catch up with. So noises in the ear, Rod Knight UK resubscribed for 4 months in a row, 16 in total. Thank you ever so much for the continued support, buddy, I appreciate it. YDN Souped Up Sam has subscribed with Amazon Prime. Iron Dukin has also subscribed. Thank you for the subscriptions. Welcome to the channel. And Syntax Error 37 for 28 months in a row, saying, here X, take my money. Thank you ever so much for your support, man. I do appreciate it. It helps me do what I do here, and I hope you all get something good from what we're doing here. Yellow Harold says, careful with deadlifts, assuming you can seriously damage your back. Yeah, Harold, do not worry. I appreciate the concern. I am all too aware of the importance of good form, not overdoing things, not lifting with ego. I am not that type of person. I just think maybe my approach to trying to learn the deadlift wasn't the right one. But I don't know, I got a shoulder injury. I don't think that's particularly common with deadlift. It's just, if I think back to what I was doing at the time, I was trying to like branch out into some uncomfortable territory, I guess. Deadlifts are fantastic. Squats are the thing I get injured at the most, says Epic Fingerpaint. I got pretty good with the squats. Goblin squats and the like, I've never really had too much of a problem with. Sometimes my knee gets a little bit funky, but I step off it straight away if I feel anything in my knees. Like, the second you feel something in your knees, it's like you're not doing that again for a few days. But speaking of like squats and legs, so here, I got a cool story for you. I thought this was cool. I just want to confirm, yeah, we pretty much done everything in there properly. I probably, possibly missed some water though. I think I might have missed some water over here. Right, aha, there we go. It's in there, excellent. Right, another noise in the ear. That Zero is here, subscribing, or Zero with a I. Subscribing with Amazon Prime, thank you ever so much. Appreciate it, buddy. And also Turian for 27 months in a row saying hi, X and chat. Thank you, Turian, I appreciate it. Also, that Zero saying, love you, Suma, finally able to catch your stream. Well, welcome, thank you for subscribing, man. T-Hype says Lone. Lone, 21 minutes in, tea reminder is here. It's time to enjoy some delicious. Dibbers says I had the same with my shoulder, I just gave it a rest and went swimming. I'd love to pick up swimming again, yeah. Oh, that's good, that's good. I enjoy tea too much. But then again, I am British, I've got an excuse. So peeps, what is my cool story? My cool story is about cycling. I've been cycling a little bit more lately. I kind of prompted myself, I was like, hey, I should cycle to the local shops because I only had a few things to get, right? And then I reminded, like, hey, I'm a lot more comfortable with driving my car now. I think I've like hit a point where I've gotten what I wanted out of driving to the shops and driving on a regular basis, which for me is pretty much once or twice a week, but it, you know, it helps. And I'm at a point now where I think I should start going back to cycling more often. So I cycled to the shops, that's great. And the other day, yesterday, yeah, it was literally, is it Monday? Why does it feel like there's been 2 days between Sunday and today? Anyway, Sunday, dinner with the family, cycled over there, and I cycled over there with my new bag that has my laptop in it. It has a load of jars and bowls, so it's really heavy. And I was on my bike, the one which last time I was doing regular cycling, I was sort of not that comfortable going into the top gear, right? And I had this massive backpack on my back, and I completely forgot it was there, and I was going up a hill, absolutely bombing it up in the top gear. And it's all the working out. Because I've hurt my shoulder, I've switched to doing legs. I never bothered with legs. And now I need something to work out. I've gone to my legs, and it's like I've given myself like so much power in my legs now that I can cycle in my top gear really easily, but also with a massive weight on my back, which I didn't realise later. Later I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, that's great then. You know, like I'm gonna up the fitness through cycling a little bit. Might try and start running again soon. I really love fitness and exercising. It's so good for you. Used to skip leg day. How could you, says Hamstap? I like the joke, but reason why is because probably because of my knees. Like I've always had a bit of trouble with my knees, but since I've done that regular yoga, that really hasn't been the case. But yeah, I guess my knees probably more than anything would have put me off doing legs. But now that I've like needed something to work out and gotten back into it, I've applied more of the knowledge that I've gained over time, right? About, you know, don't be stupid with the weight that you're lifting. Don't go over the top. Be consistent. Slowly progress over time. Make sure you're comfortable. If you feel pain, you know, stop straight away. And with all of those things that I've learned since I last did legs, the workouts have just been so much better. They're better structured. The technique is better, you know. Like I've learned a few things about how to work your calves and how to do drop lunges, and with these better techniques it's so much easier. Said it before, but get checked out for hypermobile joints. It's super common with us dyspraxics. What a hypermobile? Because that sounds almost good. That's like mobile sounds good. You're mobile, you're moving around, you're free. No pain, no gain, son, says Lixor. You got to know what type of pain it is, right? Some pains are like, hey, this thing is wrong, stop doing what you're doing. The pain you want is the what they call hypertrophy, I believe, which is the soreness of muscles from from being torn and from you know, needing to repair and heal, and you can feel that when you're doing it. Basically, double jointedness means joints can be unstable. I would be highly doubtful that is the case for me. I don't have double joints. My joints are really quite... I've never really had any joint problems, just my knees a little bit. And I'm tall, you know, so I can be common to some extent. Right, got to pick up these slabs wherever they may land, because I don't like wasting stuff, even though, you know, we probably shouldn't spend too much time worrying about all these little ones here and there and everywhere. Hypermobile means that you are able to extend the wrist and bend your joints more than what is common. Yeah, I don't think that's the case for me at all. I'm not extra bendy. Right, I'm gonna drink some more tea right now. We also got Lee Freck here, subscribing with Amazon Prime. Lee Freck, thank you ever so much for your subscription. I appreciate that, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Delicious, wonderful tea. By the way, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Be sure, you know what he's going to say, be sure to hit that follow button. Make sure you get notified of when we stream, because we do this on a regular basis. But peeps, the stream schedule will probably be changing. This is a later stream than usual, and I think I might shift gears and give it a shot at doing my streams later in the day now, because I want to change my eating pattern. I had like 4 big eat days in a row, just by, you know, events and things or whatever that I've agreed to lining up. And when you eat a lot of, you know, the treat yourself food in a row, it becomes a little bit less enjoyable. It takes a toll on you, and I think I've probably had a few too many of those days lately where I've treated myself. So I want to like restructure my eating habit a little bit, try something different. I'm gonna now like shift my fasting window like into the morning, because the way your hormones work, they are going to decrease with time. So after you've eaten, the hormone hunger, the hunger hormone even, for your body telling you to eat more and more, starts up pretty quick after you've eaten, and then it reaches its peak, and then it slowly diminishes. So if you haven't eaten for 12 hours, you will be hungry in the sense of knowing that you need to eat, and you will not be as hungry as you probably would have been 3 or 4 hours after eating, because of the way these hormones work. I did this method of like, I'm going to get up first thing and eat, and I'm going to finish eating within 4 to 6 hours, and then the rest of the day is going to be me torturing myself about food. And I think that's led to me then wanting these days where I kind of like gorge myself a little bit every now and then. And that's probably not the best way to do it, so I'm going to rethink my eating strategy. Music is loud, Asuma. Let's see. Who thinks the music's too loud as it fades out? That's cheating. Entity Cramming is here, resubscribing for 4 months. Entity Cramming, thank you ever so much for resubscribing. You are my favourite game rule in Minecraft. Ha 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 ha. So funny. So funny. Appreciate your support, buddy. How long do you fast for, X? Says Woody Woodpecker. About 16 hours. Around that, because I generally eat in about 6, but you probably find your body still digesting. Probably more than 2 hours. Some people are saying a bit loud, some people are saying fine. Cats are best, as you should do polls. Problem with doing polls is they were removed, so no polls. I've upped the volume a fraction, peeps, just a fraction, for you to enjoy. The music would be fine if you yelled. There are always 2 solutions to a problem. I like it. I like it. Why did they remove polls, says Anderium? No idea, no idea. No idea at all. What were we talking about a second ago? I find I get the most out of the day when I didn't quite read all of that, Harold. I'm most productive, I think, in the morning. The further to the evening it gets, the less productive I get. So I think actually, you know, using this time to live stream might be pretty smart. And also, like in the morning, I feel like I really benefit from like a fair amount of wind-up time. Like, I go for a walk, then I do yoga, then I work out, and then I eat. Would be normally it. That might change. I might then have a rest. But that's another point. Like, if I want to do this eating later in the day thing, I need to think about that, because I want to eat after a proper workout. I've got to eat some protein straight away. Don't have to eat it straight away, actually. Yeah, you can eat it within about 3 hours, but I need to get it in there, you know. Delicious tea. Do you wake up late or early, says Cats are Best? I get up pretty early, but I've been on a... Since I injured my shoulder, I think I've just been a sort of bit, you know, my mood's been a bit lowered by all of that. Aha, here's where the thing gets to now change, I believe. Yeah, so I've been like laying in probably a little bit more than usual, like 5 to 10 minutes of laying in. I used to just like get straight up, got in a rhythm of doing that. I want to get back to that. You know, just get up and get on with the day. Whoa, oh, wow, we drifted down there quick. We've got noises in the ear, and I'm going to try and... I seem to have all the wrong ideas at the moment. There it is, it's over here. See, I think now what I want is this one, right? I want to see myself... Oh, jeez! Okay, we're in. But we have no soul sand. Ah, that makes sense, that makes sense. Okay, now I need, like, Oh! That seemed to fix itself after a moment. Maybe we should get... I'm not sure what's the best way to do this is. We'll just take it a couple of blocks at a time. So we've got noise in the ear from Night Reaper 1989. Say it's a donation. Thank you ever so much for the donation, buddy. Saying, might I contribute to the Tea Fund? Tea with a capital T, that is. Thank you very much for contributing. It is funny that you say that today, because I just ran out of... This is my last tea bag, right? Of English breakfast. I've actually got more in the cupboard. Of course I have, you know. Of course I've got a backup supply. But I've just, like, finished 2 boxes. English breakfast and every day. And this is literally the last tea bag from the English breakfast. Liam, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Have a great rest of your day. Hayley Bailey says... Oh, talking to someone else in chat. Okay. Did I miss the eye break, says Dead Dino. You did not miss the eye break. But you don't have to wait for me. You can take an eye break at any point you like. Let's aim downwards here. You drink breakfast tea this late in the evening, says Hamster. I do. I'm a rebel. I'll drink it any time I like. We got Hackon 422556 resubscribed for 2 months, saying, "Hi X, what are we up to? We are working on our witch farm, and we are destroying the glass that the witches used to zip up through, and then we have to rebuild it all over again. Unbelievable." Sand would be good to remove the water, says Damn Kathy. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? There's another thing we could do as well, which would be kind of interesting, which is to just do this and go straight down all the way to the bottom. You know, because then I can just hold click and read chat. X, what do you think of licorice tea, says Triad. I think I tried it a long time ago. I'm not keen on licorice. I like blackcurrant and licorice, and I happen to have a couple of blackcurrant and licorice yogurts in my fridge. I decided to treat myself. And we got a noise in the ear from Swirly Dude. Resubscribed for 2 months in a row. And AirK69 subscribing with Amazon Prime. Thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. I appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Blackcurrant tea is amazing, says Anikia. That sounds amazing. I want some of that blackcurrant tea right there. Set up a beacon, says Moist Thighs. Do you know what? It'd probably make it go a little bit quicker, but... Damn, it would make it go quicker, wouldn't it? I should have done that a long time ago. I've probably got more building to do. Yeah, maybe I will set up a beacon, you know. Maybe I will do that. Not a bad idea. If 3 witches would wear 3 watches, which witch would wear which watch? I like it. I like it. Dual Cow says, X, do you like football? And if so, what team do you support? I'm a neutral. I like football. I watch a lot of football. Not a lot, actually. I just watch a fair bit. I really like watching... Oh, this reminds me, there's some topical stuff I wanted to talk about. We were shouting out channels, and I just remembered another one. I watch a channel on YouTube, I think they're called Tifo Football. and they do these like breakdowns on tactics and how managers set up teams and what the instructions for players are, and they are fascinating. I love looking at the game from that angle and seeing all of the kind of tactic and management and teamwork that goes into the sport. I find that really, really fascinating. Okay, so we talked about setting up a beacon, right? Let's do this. You know, I got a beacon. I got iron blocks. We can make this happen. Can we? I think that's just enough. Just enough. And let's just set it up over here to the side, you know. Maybe even off the edge so I can just get onto it easy. Who's online tonight the next, says DS Blade. We've got Python GB, who's working on a new episode. Well, I guess probably anyone who is right. But Python tweeted it out earlier today that he had like his notes and he was going to be working on Hermitcraft. And Good Times with Scar. And also Bad Time with Scar. Not Bad Times with Scar, jeez. Right, so that'll be the middle there. Well, no, not quite yet. You eat or drink something from Poland, says Badder. Possibly some of the food that I'm consuming comes from Poland. I don't know. So yeah, we were talking about like shouting out channels. Here's something I think many of you out here on this online environment, words, apparently they just got difficult, should invest some time into, which is learning about what is happening on social media, the big platforms, how they are being manipulated by bots and trolls. There is some fascinating information that is now starting to come to light and circulate. I've listened to several podcasts with people in the know on what is happening with these things, and now a channel that I've been subscribed to for a very long time is getting involved in this in a really great way. The channel name is Smarter Every Day. This guy is fantastic. He's got a great attitude. He teaches and shows you things to do with mechanics and fluid dynamics and all these really fascinating engineering topics. And now he's kind of like been sort of led and branched out into quite a different topic from the norm of his channel, and one that's sort of coming with a really strong kind of social message as well. And it is really great to see him branch out and do such a fantastic job of explaining this stuff. And today the second of 3 videos came out, and this one looked at how this social engineering is happening on Twitter. So I'd highly recommend, if you are interested in this stuff, to go and check out his channel. He's worth a subscribe because, I mean, he just makes amazing videos anyway, right? But this latest stuff that he's on is really interesting. Also, we've got a noise in here from Night Reaper 1989 here with a donation saying, never had a bad time with Scar, and frankly, can't get my head around such a concept. That's brilliant. You should tell Scar that. You should tweet it at him. Yeah, never had a bad time with Scar. That's great. Appreciate the donation, man. Thank you so much for the support. Modovius says, why would anyone believe anything they read on the internet? But the internet is a great resource for information. But the internet's become so integrated and so integral to our day-to-day lives that there are aspects of it that we are not quite picking up on. Jess K77 says Smarter Every Day. Again, yeah, if you want the channel Smarter Every Day, go do a search on it. Songbird T resubscribed for 17 months in a row, saying happy 17 months X. A discussion topic for you in the chat. What's the weirdest, craziest, oddest YouTube rabbit hole you've ever gone down? Mine is the videos of industrial farming machinery and dead abandoned shopping malls. Songbird T, thank you for your 17 months, I appreciate it. I am not one for going down those rabbit holes because I feel the sucking of time and I hate it. I hate it when I'm like, oh man, I'm like fixated on this thing. But I think my rabbit hole is watching old live shows from like the 90s, 80s, whatever it is. Just watching old concerts of bands that I love. Sometimes I can get really sucked into being like, oh, what about that band in that year when they released this record? Did they play any live shows? And then I'm like, oh my god, they played at this festival and that festival, and then I get a little bit lost. That's my rabbit hole. Never gotten down into anything too strange, or I don't know, anything quirky, because as soon as I like see or encounter anything like that, I'm like, this is a time hole, don't go into it. Edward says, my weirdest rabbit hole was Minecraft YouTube, having not played in several years, but it led me to watching all of X stuff, so definitely worth it. Does that mean that I'm one of these weird time holes? Rabbit hole is the one you were calling it. Right, now we can do this next bit a little bit faster, which is cool. I think I'd like to, now that we've got lots of these, I'd like to finish this bit here up, actually. So, Savvy asks, what genres do you listen to? If you'd like to know about what music I enjoy and listen to, I actually have a music blog dedicated to, like, logging my journey through my musical discoveries, which has slowed down a little bit lately. I've been really sucked into the world of podcasts, and this year, like every year, I'm going to discover more new music. And this year I've just found myself gravitating in the other direction, actually, like listening to Queen and a few other artists from decades gone by. And I figured I'm not going to try and resist it too much, like go with the flow a little bit. So, I don't know, maybe in like next year or the year after, I'll make like this real conscious effort. Okay, every time I'm adding like a album to my playlist, I'm going to have to go and find someone I've never heard of and listen to them as well. That would be cool. Unstable Pirate says, Assumer, mine is watching heavy equipment digging in real time. You know, I sometimes do rabbit holes of stadiums, looking at stadiums, but also, I really like, and I don't consider it a rabbit hole, I really like the Primitive Technology channel and watching, like, no one talking, just some stuff being kind of built out in the wild. That is, like, great. I love that. Okay, so it is at this point here that we now change to a different style. We don't actually need to do it like this, but we will do it like this, okay? And I'm going to hop up on here, and we're going to start to go upwards, peeps. Just keep going upwards. Sometimes gets awkward tweeting Music Rex. Says Inev. I probably recommended a bunch of stuff to listen to. Yeah, I mean, people tweet me stuff all the time. Quite a lot of it goes on my playlists. Quite a lot of it I've already heard. Sometimes I listen, it's not something I want to start listening to. But you can always tweet me, you know. Anyway, I feel like I wanted to talk about something here, and we got kind of off topic. So, there's this thing that Destin, the guy from Smarter Every Day, brings up in his videos. This is this thing that I really like. He talks about like the civility of discourse and how we can counteract this time where our social media is being kind of like interacted and hacked. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that you can be the victim of this stuff. It's so easy to go online and think that it's some other people that are getting the false information and the fake news, and they're getting trolled, and the information is out. Like, the trolling is happening on all sides. They are infiltrating both sides of the aisle, and it is dangerous. If you have political opinions or views, these things are out here to try and get you thinking in a more hostile way. They're trying to appeal to the more primitive and tribal manner of behavior, right? This group, them group, us and them, being opposed to one another. And anyway, so they talk about how there's like these Twitter accounts that are entirely fake. They're like personalities of people, and even one of the CEOs of Twitter themselves accidentally, well, I say accidentally, was basically retweeting this person thinking that they were genuine. They had thousands of comments, and he gets to this point in his video that's really great, which is, he says, like, a lot of the time these accounts seem really harmless. They're just sharing information about things that you like and you're interested in, but then they give you this nudge, right? They do this thing where all of a sudden they take whatever it is, some sort of movement or community that you're a part of, and they then inject this idea of you versus the opposing community. And so I'd like to just kind of pass on a thought to all of you. Whenever you're online, whenever you're reading or things are being shared with you, if you're on Twitter, like, have your eye out for the nudge. Have the thing that tries to put a wedge between you and someone who has a different view to you, tries to make it look like they're the enemy, right? These things come in the form of memes as well. Like, they're using everything in this war of information and ideas. Tom Deb says, sounds very scary, X, but fact checking is very annoying. Well, Tom, great of you to, like, you know, point out that fact checking is difficult and annoying, and it really is. It's really quite difficult to do proper fact checking, especially if you've, like, never been educated in how as well. I think that, was it Destin or another channel I'm subscribed to recently did something with someone who was a fact checker, and it was really fascinating to see how they do what they do and how difficult it is. But yeah, man, use your internal compass, you know, rely on that. Like, look out for the nudge. Don't find yourself in these places where you're thinking about other groups of people and what they think. Like, don't be having an argument with someone who's not actually there in your head, right? Like, don't get caught up into this dynamic of, oh, the problem is the other people and their crazy opinions and views, because that's the tribalism. That's the thing that they're trying to stoke. Do you like the channel called Hot Mess, says Savvy? Yep, I follow Hot Mess. I follow Above the Noise as well. Great channels. Great to get real good information from. X, you're describing all of America. Everyone hates each other for having different opinions, says Oman. Ah, okay, but here's the thing, Oman. It's not everyone, alright? And that's that compartmentalizing, right? Where we're thinking things about broad groups of people. There are actually a lot of people who want to have rational and real conversations and are not looking to be pulled into these tribalist arguments. Like, if I have an opinion on something and someone has a different opinion about it, the person is, like, now not my enemy. It's not like I'm going to be sucked into this thing of, like, your ideas are crazy and you're wrong and you're mad. It's like, what can I learn from you by talking with you, by discussing? What can we learn from one another? How can I broaden my perspective and understand why people think differently about certain topics? We are all, like, siloed off from the information that we have inside our heads from one another. When we talk to someone about their views and opinions, you know, we only have a handful of words in which to express things, and we don't get to think about what is it you've been through in your life? What kind of information have you been exposed to? What thoughts and ideas have you had shared with you that have brought you to this position here? Which is why I think we need to, like, conversate more and learn from one another. And so we've got to be very wary of these memes or these things that come along and they do that nudge. They do that thing where they push you towards thinking that tribal way, right? Like, hey, you know, I'm part of this community and the problem is those lot over there. That's the interference. That's the noise. Badger says discussion is great and it broadens horizons, but a lot of free speech is people hiding behind hatred rather than rational thought. You can't say a lot of people. Like, again, it's the I know it's so difficult because there's a lot of problems out there in the world, and we have this sort of instinct to kind of try and put it all together in our head, but it doesn't make any sense to say that it's everyone, because there's clearly people that don't use it to hide behind hatred. And so by saying that, you could essentially, you know, be upsetting someone who isn't hiding, you know, hatred behind free speech, and therefore the opportunity of conversation, like, disappears because we've been sucked into tribalism again. And I know what your concern is, and I know what you're saying, and it is probably legit to some extent, but it's better to find the example and point it and be like, hey, look, this isn't what it's supposed to be, rather than to do the generalizing thing. Generalizations are generally wrong, says Swirly Dude, injecting a little bit of humor into here, right? It doesn't help that there seems to be a victim mentality in everyone, says Mr. Defunk. Again, I feel like some of what I just said has gone over the top of your head. Like, we've got to be careful how we talk and express. Like, to say, oh, there's this thing and it's in everyone. You know, like, it doesn't do us any good to say like that. There probably is a culture of some sort of victimhood out there, but again, it's just better to, like, find whoever you think that is and have a conversation with them, because people are so much more alike than they realise. We're all so much more human and similar, and conversations can go a long way to understand one another. Does the anti-vaxxer group fall into this category, says Tom Deb. So the anti-vax thing, I've talked about that as well. You know, like it's so easy to sort of look at a group like that and go, oh, you're crazy, you're spreading fake news. But if you were to talk to them, you'd probably learn, and I have learned through listening to podcasts and stuff, that, you know, they're driven by honest motives in a way, right? Like they genuinely think that these things are a problem. And when you understand some of the correlations that cause them to think that way, it's like, you're only human. You know, we need to have conversations and bring people on to seeing some of the more scientific based evidence and whatnot. But one of the reasons why there is this big talk about it being linked to autism is because when autism is first recognized in a child is just around the age where you get vaccinations. And so it's that, what do they call it? Is it correlation between the two things? You know, causation, not correlation. I forget. There's so many words and they're so confusing, and you've got to try and get them right all the time. It's very hard to express yourself through chat properly. That is part of the problem, says Hayley Bailey. Oh yeah, oh for sure. Like, text is not a great way of getting things across, right? You have less words, you lack the tone of voice to express your tone. It's one of the reasons why when I send messages to people, almost all the time I put a smiley face at the end of it. Just because I worry that, like, you could interpret this as me perhaps meaning something different. And I don't know what that meaning is, but you could interpret it that way. Possibly. The phrase is correlation doesn't imply causation. Yeah, so correlation, two things that line up. Every time Asuma streams, the sun is in the sky. Therefore, when Asuma streams, the sun will be in the sky, right? No, they just happen to line up. I mean, that's if you're in the same time zone as me, right? Because I don't stream at night. You know? Tiffany says autism speaks so bad, they say rather than have a dead kid than an autistic kid, which is just stupid. I mean, that sounds like someone saying something particularly mean. You know, if you've got mean things to say, I don't know. The way I look at autism is, to me, it's like we're all different and unique from one another, right? There's no like 1 + 1 = 2 person. There's no perfect formula person, and then, you know, you got a 1 + 1 = 3 over here. We all got different degrees of personality and ability and whatever it is, and you know, for whatever reason we have decided that on some level of that we need to define it, which I believe is mostly to help those people exist in society, to make others aware that, hey, like, we're not all exactly identical, and some people are gonna need that to be known and acknowledged, because it could be a hindrance where it doesn't need to be if we just be more accepting of one another. But I raided Autism Father the other day. It was Ortcraft's 7th birthday, was it? Well, that would make it very close to Hermitcraft. I think it was the 5th birthday, actually. We'll come back to that in a second. Tiny Small 69 resubscribed for 22 months. Thank you ever so much, Tiny Small. I appreciate your resubscription there. We've got Silver Milesley subscribing with Amazon Prime. Akira086 subscribing with Amazon Prime as well. Thank you ever so much for the support. Appreciate it ever so much. So we raided Autism Father, and he was telling a story that I found really shocking. I've made a mistake. Let's go see what the damage is. Oh, might be 0. I mean, yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh! Quickly now, quickly now, quickly now. Dup 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 dup. Ba-dup bup bup. Ba-dup bup bup. Bup bup bup. Okay, that should prevent any form of disaster over here. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure that's going to prevent disasters from happening. We shall see. Disaster prevented! +1 for me. That's an anti-derp right there if I've ever seen one. That was some brain smarts activity. We've got another... No, wait. Why did I think I had another noise in the ear? I don't know. I could have swore I just heard one. Jill Cow says, scientists think 9 out of 10 people have autism, even if it's just a tiny amount. The To Return says, everyone has autism, it is a spectrum rather than a category. Yeah, so this is how I feel about it. Like, I feel like, hey, there are things in my own personality that may push in one direction or another, and that's the same with everyone. We've got different aspects of our personality. I guess when some of that is perhaps a little more exaggerated or obvious, like we have this word we apply to it, but everyone's got like something going on. And anyway, Autism Father has been telling this story about the autistic community and how online autism has become a trolling word, right? A mean thing to say, and I've seen that happen, man. It will kind of break my heart, right? Like I've been aware for a long time of what autism is. When I was in school, it was when it was first becoming a proper thing that now, okay, like we had dyslexia, I think, first, which was like the generation behind mine learned about dyslexia, and the school started to accept that and, you know, help people with dyslexia. And then in my generation, it was autism. People with autism were now getting help in schools. And then I've come online, and, you know, for many years it was never really talked about online, but then over the last like maybe 4 or 5 years, I've seen it used as an insult, and it is so disheartening to see that, to see people using it so casually as just a way to be mean, and yeah, and it's kind of not surprising what I'm hearing. Basically, Facebook and other platforms are using really heavy-handed approaches to dealing with it, which is to essentially look for the word autism and then silence people that are using that word. And this is actually silencing the autism community. These places are getting banned from Facebook for having autism in the name of their community, and it's terrible. Obviously, the platforms are trying to deal with this, but they're dealing with it in a terrible way. I think if you're, you know, hurting the communities like that, I don't know how you would say if it outweighed the cost, right? Like, is it better that that word is not being used? Probably not. Probably not. Even when people are using it mean, there are people that are using it, you know, normally or whatever. Toxsoft is here, resubscribing for 3 months. Thank you ever so much, Toxsoft. And also Fabian is here, saying, here, have your anti-derp reward. Oh, thank you ever so much for the donation, man. I appreciate that support, and I hope you are enjoying the stream. Dakota says, some of the people who are anti-vaccination are more worried about the allergy to the vaccine, not the autism risk. My twin sister happened to be someone who has an allergy to vaccines. So yes, Dakota, the numbers, if I remember them correctly, it's something like 1 in 1 million people will be allergic. And because of the internet, we are able to communicate with those people. And so we go from having, you know, this, you know, it's obviously awful. And this is one of the reasons why I think the movement is so strong, because it appeals to people's emotions before learning the numbers. But, you know, in a non-internet environment, right, this 1 in a million would literally feel like 1 in a million. You wouldn't know anyone that had an allergic reaction to a vaccination. But in the online environment, those people have banded together. So now it's not just like, hey, like, I know someone, it's like there's a whole community of people who have had those allergic reactions to vaccinations, and because they are in communication with each other in the environment together online, like, it's not going to feel like 1 in a million. It's going to feel like it's far more frequent and possible. And then they educate people about how many people have been affected. If you think about how many millions of people on the planet there are, it's still like literally 1 in a million. But that's going to be a lot of people when you've got a planet full of millions and millions and billions, right? So it adds up, and it's very unfortunate for those people who have, you know, are allergic to it. But then when you weigh that up, and it's an unfortunate thing to have to weigh people's suffering up, but compared to the damage that the vaccinations prevent, it's such a huge difference to live in a society that's vaccinated from these deadly diseases. Serentol says, the anti-vax community has become cult-like. I think the use of the word cult is an interesting one. I don't know, there's quite a few topics I hear. Like someone like Joe Rogan mentions cults a lot, and I feel like that's an interesting word to use. Like, I don't know, I think you've got to be careful about that. But I wouldn't say they're cult-like. What I observe is that the thing that we talked about earlier about this tribalism online, this sort of primitive response of us versus them, I think that is playing into the vaccination issue, and possibly something like the flat earth one as well, that it becomes a bit more heated and about trying to be right and being on one side rather than the other, and perhaps losing sight of like the science, the evidence, and becoming a bit more emotional about things. Anti-vaxxers became a lot more popular in the last year, says Trick Turn. Yeah, I think in trying to deal with it, you will also amplify it. And unfortunately, we're now starting to see like measles outbreaks happening in certain areas, and we may start to see some of the repercussions of having this anti-vaccination movement. But interesting thing that I learned a while ago, it is not the first anti-vaccination movement. When vaccines were first introduced, there were I don't think there were riots, but there were certainly protests. In England, I believe, in London, there were big protests organised against vaccination, which you might not have known of. I didn't know of it, and I thought, there's a thing right there, eh? You're thinking, oh, this crazy time, these people against vaccinations, but like it's happened before. It's happened before. English Sif says, do you believe ADHD is overdiagnosed? Absolutely. Based on some of the podcasts I listen to, it generally seems to be that whenever that subject is brought up, the people I'm listening to think it's oversubscribed. I think young people have a lot of energy, right? And it's... yeah, the whole thing is actually pretty grim now that I think about it, because it's about subscriptions as well, like doctors being incentivized to subscribe drugs to people and overdiagnosing. Pretty broken system right there. Jewel Cow says, my best friend who I met at school is dyslexic. Ah, jeez. That one went off the screen. I really wanted to read that message. If you could post it again, that would be appreciated. When giving the spotlight to issues, some are resolved and some are amplified, says Gaming Apricorn. Yes, yes indeed. Jewel Cow says, my best friend who I met at school has dyslexia and everyone helps him. It's really bad, and I was sad when I learnt that people like him weren't and aren't being treated in the same way. Jewel Cow, when I was at school, if you had anything like dyspraxia, dyslexia, autism, whatever it was, there was a huge cause for you getting bullied, being picked on, and a few anecdotal things that I have heard kind of made it sound like things have moved a little bit beyond that. Like, again, anecdotal, right? Like, stories that have risen for what they are doesn't necessarily mean this is the same across the board. But I've gotten the impression that these newer generations are far more accepting of people with disabilities, mental learning, physical, and more compassionate. But again, it's just based on a few anecdotal stories that I've heard. You know? Sir Hulk Place says, my girlfriend has 3 autistic kids, all with different levels, and they are all amazing kids. I love them all for their own quirks. Funny, loving children. It's like they're normal people, right? They're just normal people. Madagaya says, I was called slow, dyslexic and autistic. People are much more understanding now. Bella Thorne having dyslexia is a popular meme, says Boo Sakudo. Oh. I don't know who Bella Thorne is, but that's kind of... Why would that be a meme? Do you know, there's this thing that goes around. It is a little bit anecdotal, but you'll hear it a lot. Is a lot of entrepreneurial types talk about having dyslexia and learning not working for them. But I think, again, like that, it might be just in proportion. Like, it's just a story that someone in that position would probably tell you, right? Striderlot is here, subscribe with Amazon Prime, and Velvet Twench is here, resubscribing for 3 months, saying first trimester complete. I love that you talk about real issues and life stuff during your stream. Thanks for keeping it real. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for the support. I'm glad you enjoy it. As you're probably aware, I'm quite passionate about this. What podcasts do you listen to, says Dirgelop. I listen to two, and like two that I would recommend, which is Joe Rogan and Sam Harris. They're my two like ones that I tune in for quite a lot of, you know. Well, every Sam Harris podcast I'll probably listen to, and when Joe brings on journalists, people that I know, maybe like musicians, or let's see, like he brings on a lot of scientists, you know, people that are academics in like professionals in a particular field. Really like those sorts of ones. There's a few other types he does as well, but I'm not so keen on his like MMA stuff, just because the fighting thing isn't really for me. But yeah, he brings on some very interesting people and asks them really great questions that make for fascinating listening. Sam Harris is really fantastic as well. And then I listen to the H3 podcast. That's more of like an entertainment thing for me. You know, there's not a crazy amount of food for thought in there. But those two are very entertaining. I've just remembered something, and I'm really glad I remembered it now. I've got to put water all the way up there, and that is going to be a problem when we place the panes on those sides. Going to be a big one. Spangleboo says, I feel lucky in my school. For years I was there anyway. There was no bullies. There was only one instance when someone was purposely trying to annoy someone with Asperger's syndrome. Thankfully, lots of people stepped in and stopped. It was a small school though, so that may have made the difference. Yeah, small school would. I mean, I can't imagine a school where bullying doesn't take place. And it seems to be something that kids just gravitate towards, like it's built in. Probably like an expression of insecurity, perhaps, is to direct attention at someone else. But I mean, in a smaller environment, I could understand that probably. Right, I'm going to finish putting in some more glass panes going up, and then we're going to change the pace here. We're going to change the tune. I feel like we've been doing this for how long? Just over an hour? Maybe now's the time for a good old eye break, right? I'm not going to recite myself though, just because I feel like we're in the midst of a really good conversation here. So I'm gonna look the other way for a second. All right. So the idea with the eye break is that at an interval in this stream, you're just given an opportunity to look away from your screen for a while. Why? Because staring at a screen for hours on end, bad for your eyes. That's what the doctors are saying. I think it sounds pretty reasonable to me. Okay? Okay, I didn't come out of the womb staring at a screen. Alright, we didn't evolve. We didn't come out of the jungle staring at a screen in our hand. So it makes sense that you might need a break from doing that. I'm also taking a moment to replenish my fluids. Make sure you drink lots of water throughout the day. And if you're in a stuffy room, open the window and get some fresh air. Fresh air be good for your brain, peeps. Right, but let's get right back to it. I'm only taking a short break today because we're in the midst of a good flow of conversation here. And Harold says, I feel like MMA gets a bad rep for being violent. It just means mixed martial arts and can easily be about martial arts for self-defense. Yeah, when I mentioned it, I was in no way knocking it for violence. I actually quite enjoy watching a fight, like boxing or whatever, but it's not something I go out of my way to do. And it's not a topic I'm like massively interested in, but every now and then it really like it'll grab you. Like when they did the Mike Tyson interview, that was fascinating. But Mike Tyson is obviously like, you know, one of the most well-known fighters, and a lot of people know his story. I remember learning his story when I was a kid in school, and it was like really inspirational. What do you think about KSI versus Logan Paul then, says the Triturn. You know, they can do what they want, right? Fair play to them for doing it, really. I mean, it takes a lot. I was talking earlier about, like, letting go of the hate, right? It's so easy to go, oh, you know, they're just doing it for money and don't like those guys, right? But, man, let go of the hate. Like, it takes a lot. Look at the positives. Like, they had to properly train and do something with their time and themselves, and, you know, that's something right there. Suma, did you need to dig out the area around the farm, or are you just going to keep it as it is, says Anisha? I'm not going to dig out the area around the farm because we don't need to. The way the farm is designed, we stand at a spot that means we don't actually need to mess with that. Excuse me, a little bit of a burp there. Let's go. There's a chest somewhere up here. I can see it. Let's go drop off some stuff, because I want to start planning another part of this project, basically. I feel like I don't want to be just stuck doing this the whole time. So we will drop off some things. We probably do some item repairs as well. And what else might I drop off here? I think I'm going to leave the blue ice for now. Maybe that black glass also. Are you going to build a new farm, says Jab Channel? Absolutely not. This one right here is fine. Fine by me. There's a little bit of redstone engineering over here we could take a stab at. Maybe if we have a break from the old topical chat and just focus on a little bit of redstone for a moment and then come back to it again, that might be cool. Recharge my batteries. Right. So... Wait, where's my backpack? Is that one? Okay, yeah, gotta have my, gotta have those, that one there, them over here, yeah. Okay, that'll do. Right, so redstone. Let me remind myself of how this works. Redstone goes up, redstone goes down. I think the furnaces are not essential. So I believe what we will do here is grab a sticky piston. Yeah, let's grab a piston that is sticky, of all things. Alright, I need a redstone box. You know, that makes sense. Have that one first. Hamstap says, something I noticed when I went to my first boxing match is the amount of respect that's involved in these organised sporting events. I feel that major aspect of general life that could be improved on the topics that you discuss. I feel that's a what? Respect, totally. Yeah, totally respect one another. Couldn't agree more with that sentiment. We need more of that. DGS says, I love my school because, yeah, it has bullying, but it's a school. However, whenever someone is receiving unnecessary grief off someone or something, someone will step in and their group follows. They also give advice to the person being grieved. If there is another school picking on one person, that person is alright with people in my school, my whole year will get involved guaranteed, says GGS. These are those anecdotal stories that I hear that are just remarkable to me. When I was in school, like, you'd never hear anything like this. Bullying was just like rampant, and you know, like, there was no culture of like sticking up for other people or anything like that. Yeah, it's really great to hear. Like, I'm not trying to knock it, it just shocks me, like, how far things have come, I guess. Right, okay, so I can put a block here, and then I can put a block there. Right, I don't know why I picked bone blocks. Do not know how we ended up with bone blocks. I think what I want is a block there. Let's then remove that, hop up here. Okay, so if I put this here, excellent, then we have that. Let's go ahead and remove this sticky piston. Now I should be able to pull all of those blocks back. And it has the exact same effect. So now, I think the furnaces are... Oh, do you know what? No, this is easy. This is easy. I can get rid of the furnaces. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. I can do this. Oh, or can I? Wait a minute. Right. I think mobs spawn on redstone blocks. I think they do. Oh, I get it. I'll just fill it all up. All the gaps with all the blocks, I reckon, is the way to do this. So I need some more furnaces. Do you still play the guitar regularly, says Ruler C? I do not. However, I had a real hankering to play the other day, and then I remembered my shoulder, and I thought, best not risk it. Best not risk it like a biscuit. I haven't heard that one in a while. I was trying to click on that so I could land on it. Yes, I thought, you know what, I'll wait, but I'm due some playing time, you know. I'm definitely due some playing time. This is good. Right, I think we've successfully done this, you know. Take that out, take this out here, get rid of those, pick up the blocks. Beautiful. Beautiful. That looks like an elegant solution. So nothing should spawn in either of those spaces is basically the idea. Come on, let's fly. Jab Channel says I'm playing my guitar right now. Awesome, dude. I hope you're enjoying it. If I could give anyone trying to get good at guitar some advice, I think it would be, don't be too hard on yourself. Because, man, I really drilled it. I was like 2 hours every day, and it made things difficult to keep up with that kind of pace. So you've got to be reasonable and make sure, like, when you are practicing, you're enjoying it and stuff. I think that's really important. I feel like I made a big mistake there because I totally burned myself out of it. And yeah, when I was thinking about other things that I wanted to do earlier, we talked about the Kevin Hart podcast with Joe Rogan and how inspiring he was to listen to, and it made me think about, like, hey, what more could I do with my time? What other things might I want to get invested in? And of course I was reminded that I still got like a body of music that I one day want to, you know, produce and release. And I shouldn't forget that, basically. I shouldn't forget that that's still there. That's on the plate, you know. But I guess at the moment I'm more inspired by this reach to all of you, like this possibility to spread positivity and like something that's valuable. So that's really got me interested. There's a little bit of a problem here that I didn't realise. Yikes. Or is there? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, hold up! Can't I modify this and push everything down a block? Also, now I'm like wondering, are those furnaces necessary? Yeah, they are. They're definitely necessary. What I can do is move the sticky piston down one block. This one here isn't actually necessary. And then what I could do is actually move this forwards as well. So what I'm going to do is break that, hopefully pick it up. No, I'm going to go back there and reclaim that sticky piston. You'll see me do that, my friends. I will reclaim it. Let's do that. Cool, I totally waffled then so much. I'm like, what did I just say? What was I just talking about? Music? I was talking about my music. I was reminded of it, I guess. Jeez, we got a noise in the ear. Oh, I think I might have missed. No, I read that one, didn't I? 8Prover, if I missed your resubscription, I apologise. 8Prover, 12 minutes ago, for 14 months, saying another anniversary. I only had one last week. Yeah, that's the whole month rolling over thing right there. 8Prover, I apologise if I missed you there. Thank you ever so much for your support. Do appreciate it. Hope you're still with us in the stream. Anisha is here gifting a sub to a baby orca. Very nice of you to do that. I appreciate you supporting peeps here in the community. Anisha, thank you ever so much for the gifted sub. A baby orca, you are now a sub. Feel free to put a love heart in chat. Can there be a huge propaganda war between Sahara and Concord, says the Triton. That is a fantastic suggestion. I'm putting that on my notepad. That is a great idea. Asuma, learn percussion and drum kit. It's so fun, says Tornado. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about the other day as well. I was thinking about like maybe busting out my old drum kit and playing on that. Man, I haven't played that thing in years. Years. I've never set it up at this place just because it's a bit of work to set it up. But I didn't know where it would be permanently, right? Let's double check this works again. For a second there, I thought it weren't going to work. Okay, so it does work. That's terrific. And now we can put these things above it. Sweet, we've finished building the roof. We've got the redstone for it sorted out. And we've done some stuff over here. It's pretty good, pretty good. Elytra, people are saying. Big show Elytra, Asuma. Big show Elytra right now. Do you know what, peeps? I really need to pee. I managed to go years and years without going to the toilet during a live stream, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's changed. I don't know if I've just been a bit disorganised or not thought it through, timed my day well, but I've several streams lately had to need to pop to the toilet. Hamstep says wash your hands. I will do no such thing. Oh, that's great. Elytra still needs mending. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Right, I'm getting a little bit distracted here. Let's put these boxes away. I think they're all good. Where did I get the bones from? Probably this. Yeah, there you go. And then that one goes in there. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Fuel, glass, building blocks. We tidied up redstone, leaves, sand. Excellent. All it goes in. All it goes in, that makes sense. Not. Okay, and then these things go in here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Where's my bed? It's over here. See, I'm so organised. So organised. Yellow Harold says, feel free to use the powder room, Asuma. The powder room? Sounds odd. The powder room. Right, we've got to find a nether portal, which is up top. Oh, it's a good thing we've got this other Elytra, because I needed to get to my portal, you know. Oh! Don't hit your face on the bottom of the blocks. It's not good. Right, before we go through into Nether, I'm going to nip to the toilet. Peeps, I'll BRB. And I'm back, my friends. Whew. Right. I feel relieved. Did you wash your hands, says Alvino. I told you this, I don't wash my hands. I don't wash them, they were sanitised. Right. Okay, 100 and minus 480 we'll put. I need these coordinates, they're going to help us. Wait, is it? Is it not? No, okay, that's correct. Yeah, these are going to help us. We're going to go figure some stuff out now. Game Inspector says, Asuma, I've been watching this mad game recently called Satisfactory. Looks like a game you should enjoy. Check it out. Games Inspector, if you want to watch me playing it, it's over on my second channel. What model of toilet do you have, says Titrian? I literally don't know. I've literally never wondered what model of toilet I have. The Black Ranger says, X doesn't wash his hands because he's an AI. AI don't have hands. Everything makes sense now. Yeah, that old theory. Okay, I see what you did there. Jeez. Report for violent activity not washing hands. Please don't. Please don't. Are you going to play more Satisfactory, says Azam? I haven't thought about the game that much. I don't think I will. I think it's just a little too slow for me, and since we were unable to continue streaming it, I don't know if that's been patched away. I think I might just call it at that. Been interested in playing... HM Music says, I found him, the Slay God, the master of all barons himself. Hi. I've been thinking of playing some City Skylines. I've now got the Industries expansion pack and considering perhaps learning that on stream and having some fun with it. Maybe building like a city that's built around the industries and focus on generating revenue from that. The one thing that worries me about that game though is that it feels like whatever you do, things tend to normalize a little bit, especially your income. Like, it doesn't ever feel to me like many of my choices really give me more money or anything, right? But that could just be because I'm not that great and don't know what I'm doing, you know, I'm a newbie. Ah, we're getting some signs in place where this is going, I see. We stole quartz from there. Didn't steal it, it was mine to take. Right, so our tunnel will be in this direction. So we've got to go 100 or so blocks, several hundred in this direction, and then off to the side by a fair bit. Let's see how far this goes, actually. Maybe I'll dig it out to where I need to get to. Okay, look, wow, goodness me, this is still, look at that, this is still where the concrete is at. My goodness me. Okay, then we come to the end here. I feel like I should perhaps put in, oh, do you know what, I don't have any iron now. I could put in trapdoors, couldn't I? Now that is packed ice. With no lights nearby, you could probably put in regular ice. Maybe I won't do that then. Maybe I can just put the birchwood either side, right? So we can continue the path coming this way. I was going to get involved in this project, but I said to False that it felt a bit mad to build the tunnel so big, and she was like, "Oh, we got all season to do it," and I was like, "Be my guest. If you want to dig these tunnels this big, be my guest." I would have made them smaller because they could end up extending hundreds and hundreds of blocks, right? Damn it! I didn't want to fall down there. Right, we got a noise in the ear. It's Jess. PK77 gifting a sub to The Assumer. The Assumer, you are now a subscriber here on the channel thanks to Jess. Jess, thank you for gifting that sub. What am I doing here? I keep falling down. Thank you ever so much for the support, peeps. As always, truly appreciated. Hope you are entertained. Hope you are enjoying yourself, learning some things, perhaps. I support everyone. I suppose everyone's already told you that you can take quartz from False's tunnels again. She'll curse it. What? Does she know I took some? And then said something about it. But digging netherrack is so much fun, X, says Winnie. Oh yeah, all of that lava that's about to fall on your face. Tucked away, out of sight. Oh, it's so much fun. Right, we're going to go like this for a while, I think. Oh yeah, don't I need to repair... I should do my elytra before I forget about it. Should definitely do that before I forget about it. Blame Impulse. He made the first tunnel model, says another JT. Well, I did say about making all of the tunnel models unique from one another, but that didn't really go anywhere, I guess. I think False is just color coding them. Is the idea. I'm just going to let her take care of it, because... yeah, I was going to build some tunnels, but at this size, I don't want to know. Too much. It's too much, man. Come on, let's fly. Let's fly high. Am I doing an accent? Was I just doing an accent of some sort? Oh, jeez, ow! Okay, don't fail me now, Wings. Don't fail me. Where is it? I feel I'm right directly on top of it and I can't see it. What is that sound, eh? 37 left, we have plenty. What is that sound? Goodness me, that sounds like a minecart eating a minecart sandwich. Jeez. Alright, let's anger some pigmen over here, you know. Who's online? Iskow. Right, it's just me, basically, because that's a camera account. Oh, whoopsie. Too powerful. Too strong. What do we have that's got mending on it? Well, let's just put that over here. Right, and now we are repairing. Repairing stuff. That's great. Let's do that. Sweet! Good Assumer says yes, Doc's Tunnel was very nice and a lot of effort went into it. Yeah, that was a crazy cool project. Damn it, I was supposed to do that in my tour episode, but I kind of forgot. Maybe I'll check it out in the episode after that. Next episode of Hermitcraft is episode 100, peeps. Get excited. Okay, get hype. First world problems. Oops, I can't start my OP gold farm because my bow is too good and kills pigmen in one shot. That's very true, Fabian. I'm having some Minecraft first world problems here, that's for sure. What does Harmony do, says Ho Ho Penguin. Not a lot at the moment, unfortunately. Episode 100, says The Last Psych. Yep, next one is episode 100 of this season. Can you believe it? 100 episodes already. Amazing. That's when the real season starts, right? When you get to episode 100. Man, this stuff repairs quick! So quick, so fast. So fresh and so clean. I love watching his gear go bippity boppity while it's being repaired, says Silver Marsley. It's fascinating, it's satisfying, that's the word, isn't it? It's even faster than your cacti smelter. No, not at all. Definitely not faster than that thing. Jeez, that thing just gives you it instantly. Loads of it. We've been here for a few minutes. If I'd done it the cactus way, we'd have been off by now. It had all been repaired. I would have completed the game. It'd have been a new year. No, I'm messing with you. Right. We all good. We all good, right? I think those are both Silk Touch. Why don't I put one of them in here? I don't know why I haven't done that. And we're good to go. I think that we're good to go. Right, Cheesy... Ow! Hitting me through the gaps. Cheesy Katie is here. Resubscribed for 3 months. Thank you so much, Cheesy Katie. I appreciate it. Hope you are enjoying the stream that we are doing here today. Look, stuff is falling down. It is falling down here. This season is on track to be the longest Hermitcraft season yet. Is the best one in your opinion? Spicy Dynamite? Absolutely. Definitely the best. Definitely the best. And will probably end up being the longest, it looks like. But that to me is the sign of a great season, right? The length of it. To some extent. Riff Raff says, I miss your Yeti skin, X. Will it be making a comeback one day? Just wait till Christmas, it'll be back. Apparently I left my shulker box. No, I got my backpack. So we good. We good, homie. And I got my ender chest as well. And I got to sort out my volume, right? Video settings. That's a great place to sort out your volume. Pro tip, peeps. Pro tip. Who is your Hermitcraft MVP? Says Triturn. Good question. Good question. To be honest, false always comes up when you're talking about the MVP. And I'm trying to think of why. I'm trying to think of why. It just every season it feels like false ends up doing something very helpful at some point or another. Why is that in my head? Like I'm trying to think of. Like that's just a feeling, right? An instinctive response. Now I'm trying to think. Okay, so what are the things that makes that so? I can't quite remember them at this point in time. Cub fan as well is a big grinder. Oh jeez, lava to deal with. I don't know. All the hermits like fantastic at doing this and that and contributing to the group effort. It's hard to say who's the MVP, right? X, if you had to resume an old season where it left off, which one would you choose? That would be such a fascinating idea for a new season, right? Like to literally go, hey, it's season 7, but we're continuing from this season. I think season 3 because of the terrain, right? But I also think it would be important to go in and not use the farms. So if you were to go in and use farms, I would say season 1. Like the old technology is broken. You would be able to do loads of new cool stuff, right? In terms of seed and yeah, like what's gonna be magical, it would definitely be number 3, I think. Okay, we've got 200 blocks to go in this direction. Jeez, that is some distance right there to travel. Hey, look, more quartz. I'm taking it. It's mine. No, no. Oh, this is what I get for stealing quartz. It's self-destructing. Who is the biggest grinder of the services, Dark Mystery? I think that's Cub Fan. I think Cub Fan is the #1 grinder. I've said it before. Cub Fan reminds me of a young Asuma. There was a time where I was just Mr. Grind. Before I started investing my more of my time into health and diet and exercise, I was a real grinder. I would be at the computer for hours just doing crazy big projects. If you go watch some of my season 2 stuff, like the gold farm, oh man, that gold farm was insane. Go look for it. If you go through the season 2 playlist, you can see it in the thumbnails. It's probably about 50 episodes in at least. Jeez, I mean, here I am, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a season 2 pro, you're probably already thinking about it. Okay, here I am thinking about the gold farm of season 2. That weren't even scratching the surface of what we did in that season. The wastelands, my friends. The wastelands. I can look into the wastelands and see movies and records come back at me. If I look at a region of that area, I remember what record I was listening to when I did that bit, or what movie I was watching. I'm not even kidding. Like, it was such a massive project, and there were just all these massive sessions where I was like, right, next 3 hours, I'm watching The Godfather. And like, I'm digging this area here, or I'm listening to this record and doing that. Cub is the definition of grinding. I mean, he built an entire biome out of obsidian, says Goat Unicorn. Exactly. That is some insane grinding right here. I don't do it like that anymore. That's not my play style anymore. Now I'm more about aesthetics and more about entertainment and like scaling my projects and doing things that work at my like newfound pace, I guess, which is obviously slower, but I don't think I could keep up that pace forever, you know. But yeah, go check out like season 2, 3, and 1. You'll see me doing like a heck of a lot of grinding. And oh, my season 1 Nether tunnel, that was a grind. I built this thing that went on for hundreds and hundreds of blocks. It was suspended in the sky by lava. It's a really cool design idea. Didn't have the block palette though to really make it anything too special. But yeah, there was so many crazy big projects back then. We also now have the tools to do similar scale stuff easier. Like if I think of my season 1 mob farm, I don't think we had beacons when we did that. I don't think we had instant mine. So some things have been made a lot easier, that is for sure. We've got a noise in the ear from Forcemaster89. Forcemaster89 says, what are we working on today? We're working on a nether tunnel to get to our witch farm, because we have been working on our witch farm. And thank you ever so much for your 28 months of support. I truly do appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying the stream we're doing here. It's been a fun one for me so far, peeps. I hope you're enjoying it as well. Okay, and fill in those little blocks there, right? A Baby Orca says, if you would ever team up with one other hermit for a full season, who would it be? That is a tough question. I don't think that'll work, because the way that I make videos is like on my own clock, and I don't think I'd be able to synchronize with anyone. The first thing that comes to my mind when you speak of season 1 is the time lapse of you digging the cross-shaped hole and then leaving all the ores in. Big Mac, you're old school, my friend, right there. Yeah, that's what was coming to my mind when I was thinking about that mob farm, was that time lapse that we did. Yeah, that was great fun. Don't really feel like doing things like that anymore, just because, you know, that was of the time, right, to do something experimental like that. I just wanted to see what the world looked like where the ores were once you dug away everything else. And I guess if I had a beacon doing that, I'd probably accidentally mine some of it as well. So it kind of makes sense that I probably didn't do that with a beacon. I really don't think they were in the game at that point. Do you play modded Minecraft, says Official Rec. I have done, and been kind of wondering if I should do something here on the live streams with modded. Been wondering about that again. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted to see. We've got to go 100 blocks out into the open. I do not like this. I do not like this at all. These tunnels maybe should have been built a little bit higher than this, you know, just up there. Would have been nice. Are you going to work on Tower Base as Panda Time? You know what? It was in the list of things to be done. I think we'll have time to get to it. Just, yeah, I kind of spent a lot more time at the witch farm than I thought I would, basically. Let's pick up that quartz while we're here. Will we go to Tower Bay? I kind of feel like maybe not, actually. My inspiration for that, like my ideas are a little lacking, probably, just because I did some work over there, and then I haven't been thinking about it. I've been working on the witch farm. I'll give it some thought. Maybe I'll remember something that I needed to get done there. What is your favourite build so far on the server, says Kirim. Skulls Volcano? By the way, we might see the pillar of the previous witch farm portal somewhere around here while we do this. I feel like I should maybe build this bit out of a different block, just because this is going to get blown up. But yeah, I really do have to go another 100 blocks, 95 blocks, and then across. I think I might turn this into like a... No, I should do this with a different block, shouldn't I? I really should. Let's go pick up some stone or something. This is going to be silly without. Playing modded on your stream sounds cool. However, there'll be a lot of people disappointed about seeing a notification you're playing Minecraft, but on the world they hopped for. What? I wouldn't announce that I'm playing Hermitcraft, but then play modded. I would say it was modded. Are there any past non-technical builds you wish you could revisit? With all the updated blocks being available, says another JT. I don't really want to revisit them. I kind of like that they are like they are. But I think when it comes to showing people, like, old builds, it does make me think, like, you know, hey, this wasn't quite the same back then. Oh, I see. We've got, like... Oh, right. There's some donations here. That's cool. I'm going to put the netherrack in here with the other netherrack. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, you could totally go back and update some stuff, but really I think it'd be nicer to be able to see those and remember that, oh, actually, like, you didn't have access to slabs of that type or these sorts of blocks back then. Anisha says, X, not sure if anyone said thank you, but thank you for keeping Hermitcraft going, inviting Green this year, and for all of your hard work you put into your streams and videos. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been, you know, looking after Hermitcraft and steering the ship for a long time, and I'm happy to do it, really. It's like I kind of knew back when I realised that we needed some leadership that this was something I wanted to do for a long time, right? And been fortunate enough that that's worked out, and we've been able to grow this community and turn it into something wonderful with lots of people joining over time and making it into something special, you know? Right, what am I doing here? Put some glass... one of these blocks. Bam. Right, so we've got loads of cobble now, and we'll build it out of cobble this time. Savvy there asking if we're planning on adding a particular person. We're not planning on adding anyone right now. It's just not part of the discussion. Yurikashi says, can normal IZF hurt us or not? I don't know, but the middle IZF is a creepy sight, isn't it? Goat Unicorn says, when someone gets invited to Hermitcraft, who sends the invite message? That's just been something I've always taken care of. That's always been my role. Apart from way back when, but like since stewarding the server. So for some of you that like don't know how it works, is that we are effectively leaderless, but I have like a lot of say in organising meetings and getting us talking and steering the ship, so to speak, like making decisions happen as opposed to not making decisions. Like a long time ago when Generic left, we were kind of left without a leader, and there was no structure, there was no coordination or communication, and things were starting to deteriorate. And you know, like you could see the fate was pretty much there's probably not going to be a Hermitcraft season 3 or whatever. So mid season 2 I kind of stepped up and said, look, you know, we need something, we need a leader. Like I can step up and try and make things better for us, and we did that. And you can see it begin, you can see things begin in season 2, because in season 2, halfway through it, like season 2 is the longest one we've ever done. The reason why is because rather than start season 3, we recruited False, we recruited Zul'jin, I believe, and like a few more people, like Tango came in as well. We like started to recruit some active players, and rather than reset the map, we moved to some new terrain, and over there we started our first ever shopping district, and that just like really kicked in some interesting activity on the server, and a lot of people having fun, and building this whole new communal area that was like organised through meetings, and started to step up our game, which happened again with season 3. We had the gaming area, which was mostly handled by Tango, but in that season we had like, you know, regular meetings and lots to talk about and discuss as a group, and that enabled the world to become far more interesting, and lots more things, group activities and events to happen. We organised UHCs, and I think the real turning point though was season 4, finding more like-minded people to join and really like power Hermitcraft in the right direction and make it something really special. I think it really kicked up a notch for season 4, and it's kind of continued on that track since, really. Paparampo says, so Hermitcraft is a communist society. No, it's not a society, it's a community of content creators who I guess we get to collaboratively work in a, I don't know, it's sort of, it just benefits everyone to play this game and have fun together. It's a really strange environment, right? Like that fun can be such a core component of what makes it successful. You know, is that you just got to get on here and have fun and play the game and do fun stuff together. Like, that's it. So a communist community, says Goat Unicorn. No, it's not communist in the slightest. It's like, it doesn't need to be linked to anything like that. It's a community, right? And it's got these unique properties and values that probably don't apply to any sort of governing system like that. Joe calls it an artist collective. That is a great name for it, an artist collective. I like it. I'm not surprised Joe would come up with a clever name like that. Yeah, you could call us an artist collective. I think that's a good one. Did I leave my shulker box? I think I left it out in the open back there. OZ Crafty says, do you know who Jancy is? He's a really nice builder on Twitch. I really like him. He would be a good fit for Hermitcraft, but it's a different server. I say it all the time, like, best not to bring up people's names. Never a good idea. Like, just let us figure out, you know, who we want to play with. And if the audience, like, if you, the audience, try and like influence or, you know, or kind of suggest or push things in a direction, like, it generally just doesn't look good for that person. You know, point in case, Good Times with Scar, for the longest time, to me, was this guy where I was like, what is this guy saying? Why does everyone always say he should be on Hermitcraft? Like, what has he said in his videos? Yeah, it kind of puts a... that looked like it sort of went right through it. Puts a bad framing around the whole thing, if that makes sense. That went just over its head. This one's too far away for my kind of accuracy, I think. That looked close. Okay, now it's getting in my range. There you go. There you go. Oh, another one! You want to go again? Ooh, I think that was sort of level with it, but it didn't move into its path. Dork says, have you seen this Minecrafter Asuma Void? He'd be a good fit. Don't! I'm not even going to entertain the idea now of this Asuma Void fella. Okay, we've got a noise in the ear. Hey! We are killing gas left, right and centre. Fat Dubs is here, resubscribed for 3 months, saying hello. Hello, Fat Dubs. I apologise for missing your resubscription about 5 minutes ago. Jeez, I'm behind. I'm lagging. I'm not doing very good, am I? Coordinate check. That's, oh, 4 more blocks. Wow. Okay, so then we're going to go this way. Sweet, let's go back and get some more. Fat Dubs, thank you again. Spangleboos here with a noise in the ear. Donation saying, hey, your ex, I just wanted to thank you for doing what you were doing and gathering so many lovely people together in your community. Now advertise the Discord. Have a great evening. Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you ever so much for the donation. I appreciate it. We have a Discord community. My friends, discord.gg/Asuma. That is my Discord server. I have been planning on advertising and opening up my new chat channels, but so far I have had just a week of busy days, and maybe tomorrow will be the time to open it up. Anyway, I make the effort now to just open up Discord and have a little chat with people. We were talking about straws the other day and discussing how many holes they had or if they had any holes at all. Yeah, we have some conversations. you know. Oh. Spangle, thank you again, and I should press that button and get the thing off my screen, right? Yeah, discord.gg/assume if you want to join us. Is it free to join, says Iskanesis. Yes, yes it is. Totally free to join, and it's basically there for you to hang out with like-minded people. You do have to register once you join. That's like our anti-troll, anti-bot type filter, is that you got to take the time to register and prove you're genuine. Still, oh, this is a bad spot. I think there might be two on me. Oh, a little bit high. Ugh. Whew. Okay, straw seems like a fascinating topic. Can you tell me more, says the Black Ranger PL. Okay, so the idea is like, imagine a donut, right? And you put your finger on it. Your finger can travel to any other part of the surface of the donut without going through a hole, essentially, right? Or having an obstacle in its way. And a straw, you could sort of argue, is almost the same shape as a donut. It just depends on how you interpret those edges at either end. So then we're starting to talk about, like, well, you know, surface in a way is a concept. Because here's an example that's always stuck with me, right? Mount Everest, highest place on Earth. Now, if you take the total amount of the surface of Earth and then you, in proportion to the size of it, look at the peaks and valleys, Mount Everest is flatter than a pancake. Like a pancake, if you look at the whole size of it and the bumps in its surface, compared to Earth, Mount Everest is flatter than a pancake. And that fascinates me. But it prompted me to think about, like, well, how do we define a surface, right? Because, you know, let's say you've got a really nice, flat, smooth surface in front of you. Imagine when you zoom in, okay? Like, when you zoom in, you're gonna start to notice some bumpiness, right? Something being not quite uniform or perfect. And the further you zoom in, you're going to see atoms and chemical bonds and, like, where is the defining point of what actually constitutes a surface? So that's me just getting, like, pointlessly fussy about it, I guess. But here's the thing. The relationships of atoms and, like, the mass of them and their structure, they are like 99.9999% empty, and a very small percent of it are the components of an atom, like the nucleus and electrons and neurons or whatever, right? So if they are 99.999% nothing, like, how is it that a surface is like solid, rock solid? You know, like, can you really call it a surface if it's that much emptiness? Neurons, says Big Mechlexia. Did I get that wrong? I don't know what a neuron is. I was just trying to fish for the right word. Playing a game of fish right there. I could have said protons. That would have probably been wrong. Actually, no. Maybe protons is right. Proteins, says Surprise Sour. That was literally what I was thinking of when I said protons. I was thinking proteins. Proton is right, neutrons is right, and electron, that's the other one, yeah. So yeah, anyway, this plays into a topic. Now some of you heard me talk about this before, but, like, reality is conceived in your mind. Like, the idea of, like, solid objects is based on sensory information, right? Like, you're constructing this idea of solidity in your mind. Because, again, the atom is 99.999% nothing, and, you know, they're like the building blocks of reality. You can't squash them together and make them fill up all the space. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff, man. What about quarks, says Novelty? Well, they're other fractions of atoms, aren't they? I mean, I learned a little bit about the quarks. That stuff, though. I mean, I like the pop science, I like listening to the audiobooks and the podcasts, but, like, it gets real heavy when you start getting down to quarks and spin and all this sort of stuff. It's like, whoa, geez, you're spinning my brain around. That's what you're doing, quarks. Right, I'm trying to understand what this spin is, but it's making my head go around in circles. So, is it impossible to touch anyone then, says Heiko Omeo? I don't know if impossible would be the right word, just because... can atoms touch? I don't know. Like, the opposing forces mean that actual physical contact of one atom to another on some level might not actually be there. So, when you like touch, if the physical reality of atoms aren't actually touching, then it's the sensation of the force that you are experiencing, right? You're sensing. That's the thing. It's all senses. It's not actualities, right? You're not actually touching. You're sensing this concept of touch. You think you listen to Asuma, but actually you're listening to the headphones, says Surprised Topher. You're listening to transmissions of ones and zeros hurtling down little lines under the Atlantic. I don't know. What is touch, says not VM. Well, it's when atoms get close to one another, right? When these big connections of atoms and chemical bonds, like they have opposing forces, like resistance to being pushed together, and that is what you're actually sensing, I guess. Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Walls aren't actually solid, says Naughty. Yeah, so to go back to it, like that was the point, like, of this whole discussion we had in Discord about straw, was like, is that it's, oh jeez, man, I'm stumbling over my words now. Yeah, it's like, yeah, how do you define a surface, right? Like, surface is more, shapes and surface are more conceptual. They're more like numbers, like a logic of concept, perhaps. Touch, a macroscopic concept. When a macroscopic things get close enough to each other, they touch, and that's it, says not VM. So they do touch. I'm gonna look into that, like the physical reality of atoms touching. Like, what's actually happening there? Do things bump into each other physically, or do the opposing forces, like gravity or something, come into play and they just influence each other? Who knows? I wonder if Fulsa's got any ice and iron trapdoors more so, because we could place down a few blocks over here. I was thinking. Things can't truly touch, right, says Kez. That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't remember like where I'd learned that, so I didn't really want to outright say it, I guess. Do we have... we don't have iron here. I think I'll leave that be then. I shall leave it be for now, peeps. Excuse me. Oh. Hand Soap says that's true. Two particles can never touch because of a force between them. Always an amount of space will remain between two particles as long as they don't merge. We can't touch anything but can feel it. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like what my instinct was telling me, you know. Vsauce apparently has an episode on it. I love Vsauce. Those channels are great. Like that's my kind of thing. Edutainment. I love the edutainment, right? I want to put knowledge in the brain and then derp it out later. And then bring it back out again as some hideous beast of misinformation and poorly remembered facts. Wafflemanx, good luck making the Iron Phoenix. Do keep in mind that 1.14 it will no longer work. So you might want to wait before doing that. Cuplex says I just tried to skip forward into the stream. Cuplex. Oh! You've unintentionally made me realise that I must have been boring you. Oh, it's a low moment for this stream. Oh, such a low moment. Was not entertaining enough that you wanted to skip forward. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Kez says, X, I'm seeing my dentist tomorrow and I'm super nervous. Got any advice? Brush your teeth before you go. You know, they're going to stick their hands in your mouth. They're going to put their tools in your mouth. Goodness me, it's getting dirty here. Yeah, just brush your teeth for their convenience. But don't be nervous, man. Like, getting a checkup. If there's something wrong, they'll find it and then you'll be on top of it. Hey X, do you remember some cartoons that break the law of physics like Roadrunner? I remember Roadrunner. Get the easy stuff to the dentist so they can get to the hard stuff. Get the easy stuff to the dentist? What does that mean? I can distract your boredom with tummy tickles if you... Oh, Spangle. Right, what are we doing here next? I got to think about this. Probably just removing some of this, right? Oh, and placing blocks below. Now, all of that netherrack that I put into that chest, I could have used again right now. Hey, why are you not placing? What's the problem? There we go. There we go. X, do you have infinity or mending on your bow? What is your reasoning? They can't be both on anymore, right? Yes, that's true. I go with mending just because I want to repair it, I guess. If I go for infinity, eventually it breaks. And I think I would rather have the mending and remember to put arrows in my inventory. It is annoying to try and remember arrows, but I think it works out better for me. Not that I've tried it the other way around. Kes says, thank you for the advice, much appreciated. No problem, man. Hope it all goes well. Right, peeps. I think this is where we'll wrap it up. We've hit our 2-hour mark, which is what I like to hit for these streams, and we're just going to be doing this again now. I'm just going to be doing this in my own time, so we'll wrap it up here. Be sure to hit that follow button before you go, and if you want to stick around for the raids, I don't know who will be raiding, but a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. As always, I appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy today's stream. Wait, did I do it all properly? Thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. Thank you to all of my patrons. Thank you to all the people hanging out in chat. We're going to go and raid Mr. XB Crafted, who's, I believe, just started, so he'll probably enjoy a raid. But thank you, everyone. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.